Hey friends, my name is Steve Guttenberg and I am the Audiophiliac, and I have a question. Do you know anybody who isn't an audiophile who owns an audio system of some type? Before I forget, I'm going to do a quick music review at the end of this video. So the question I'm asking is, I mean an audio system, in other words, a pair of speakers, an amplifier of some sort, and a turntable or CD player or something like that. And that they actually sit and listen to this at some point without multitasking. So in other words, I'm also including in this question like people you know who you didn't personally help them buy an audio system or give them an audio system. Just people you know, cousins, friends, coworkers, etc., who happen to also own audio systems as I described. Because I get the feeling that audio systems are pretty rare, that normal people, the rest of the human race other than us audiophiles, doesn't own audio systems anymore. They use music basically as background in the bathroom or kitchen or something while they're shaving or frying eggs or something. And they don't, the idea would never really cross their mind of sitting and listening to music in any kind of focused way. That just doesn't really happen anymore. And really, I'm not putting it down. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying that it didn't used to be this way. Back in the olden days, in the pre-internet days, normal people who were never ever audiophiles in any sort would listen to music without multitasking. It was a common occurrence. My mother did it frequently. Just people did it. It was a thing, you know. Music was important enough to them that they would sit and listen to it without doing other things from time to time. I'm not saying that's the only way they ever had music on, but they did. They listened. And now they don't. And I guess the question is then, what would it take to get them to listen? Or could we ever get them back to listening? In other words, could music ever be that important again to the average person that they would listen to it without multitasking? I never say never. That's my thing. I think that could happen. I just can't imagine the circumstances of that happening. But it will, because things are always cyclical. But music is so convenient now that you don't have to do much to play a given piece of music. So it doesn't demand anything from you. Now, of course, the other extreme is playing records. Or the real extreme is playing the instrument yourself and singing yourself. That would be the ultimate in focus, right? Is that you're an actual musician of some sort, or an amateur who knows how to play guitar or flute or something, and you played music, and it was important enough that you went through the effort of making music. But a couple of notches down from that would be playing an LP record or a single, 45 single, where you had to get up, go over, get the record, put it on your turntable, start the motor on the turntable, put the arm over the leading groove, lower the stylus into the groove and play the record, and then 22 minutes later get up, do the whole thing all over again. That's commitment. I'm not expecting that from too many people. But just the ability to say, I want to hear My Fair Lady or something, and then stream it or do something and then listen to it. I gather that's a rare thing. What do you think? In other words, do you know people that do that aren't also audiophiles already? And I know some of you don't self-identify as audiophiles, but in my book, anybody who does that, who does focus listening from time to time, is an audiophile. I think that's the only qualifier. It's not really how good the playback system is. It's whether or not you can listen to music without multitasking. That's the Steve Guttenberg version of what an audiophile is. So anyway, I'd love to hear your comments. Please do so below. And as for today's music review, it is this record, which I do have on LP somewhere. Couldn't lay my hands on it. So here is the CD version, Dave Brubeck at Carnegie Hall. This is from 1963, I think February of 1963. And Dave Brubeck, had a piano quartet, and it was a big deal. They sold lots of records. Jazz was not like out there music for the average person. And but Dave Brubeck, his music had weird time signatures and changes and stuff. So it was actually pretty hip, or hep, as they said in those days. And yet it still developed a pretty gigantic audience for jazz. It wasn't the Beatles, but he saw a lot of records. And this version, this live version, which does a lot of the music from his most famous record, Time Out, but to hear that music live, it feels different. It has a different energy. You feel the crowd at Carnegie Hall reacting to it. It moves in a different way. And if you like Dave Brubeck at all, and you've never heard this particular record, I strongly recommend streaming it, or if you're feeling so inclined, buying it in some form. Anyway, that is it for today. My name is Steve Guttenberg. I am the Audiophiliac. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. If you like it, please subscribe. Please share it. Tell all your friends about it, whether they're audiophiles or not. And I think that's it. See ya.